Welcome to NuttieBuddie Sports. Previewing the Buffalo Bills.
Let's go Buffalo.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, last year the Buffalo Bills, they finished 11-6. They lost to the Chiefs in the playoffs. I think honestly, only team that would have been able to beat them. What is your biggest question when it comes to your team, the Buffalo Bills, Avery?
I still haven't gotten myself to watch the highlights of that game. I can't get over the collapse of 13 seconds.
That is okay. Pause. Hilarious. That's my question. Can they get over? Is there going to be a 13-second hangover? That's what I put for a question.
That's what I wrote too. I said, how can they get over 13 seconds?
Yeah.
That's like it's the most frustrating thing for an everyday fan to see it so clearly on TV. You don't kick it you don't kick it in the back of the end zone. Mm-hmm. You let some time run off. Then you play normal defense. And they did neither of those things. They kicked the field goal to tie, and they lost the coin flip, and the Chiefs went down and scored. Now, I would expect them to overcome that. They're a really good team. They only got better. It's just a matter of getting past that second round in the playoffs now, because they should have gone to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. They would have beaten the Bengals, and it would have been a really fun Super Bowl to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think the Chiefs were the only team that could. I think they would have beat the Rams too, and you know how much I love Stafford and the Rams, but I think the Chiefs are the only team that could beat them. I would say it sort of reminds me a little bit of what happened to the Falcons. Not as big as a moment, but when the Falcons were up 28-3, and it's we got a whole half. This is easy. We got this. And it just it was more sudden for the Bills, right? It was more sudden because it was only 13 seconds, but it's just how do you get over that? This was the year. This was going to happen. But
the only way as a fan that you get over that is by winning a Super Bowl.
That's it.
Because until you win a Super Bowl, that's going to be your last memory of having a chance.
Yeah. No, for real. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a really big question. I'm glad we both had it down though too, because other than that, I don't think the Bills have a ton of questions surrounding them anyway. So
I feel like they're the most complete team in football.
Oh, for sure. I agree. Favorite move of the offseason, Avery, for your Buffalo Bills?
Case Keenum.
Yeah, that's what I had written down too. Let's move on.
No, I do have that written down as one of my favorite moves. I've got a couple of them. Okay. But obviously the big one is Von Miller.
Yeah.
I mean, when it seems like the Bills have made a splash in free agency once every handful of years. You know, it was Terrell Owens a couple of years back. They signed Mario Williams. I mean, they've made a few big splashes. They traded for Stephon Diggs, and now they get Von Miller. I think that's really the superstar that they needed to get over this. They needed somebody to come in, set the bar high. He's won 2 Super Bowls with 2 different teams. He can do it. He can show you what it takes to get there. And I think, to me, that's the biggest move. And I've got other ones I can go through. What was your favorite move?
So I'm with you. So I have 2 as well, because I thought Von Miller was the obvious one, right? He's a clutch defender, in my opinion. He always gets the quarterbacks in the big moments. And I feel like if he was playing in that Chiefs game, I think Mahomes would have been a little bit more under duress and he'd probably win that game. But sneaky favorite, OJ Howard. I've always had an obsession with him. It's not his fault. He was on a team with Tom Brady, who likes to throw to Gronkowski, and Cameron Bray. I like him as well as a tight end. It's just a really good flyer for the Bills. They don't need a whole lot. Why not go out and get this tight end who runs 4.4, 4.5? He's really fast. He's got solid hands.
He's a freak.
Stretched. Yeah. Stretched the field. He's 6'6". Why not? So I actually sneaky like that move for the Bills.
That's fair. I like it as well. I feel the same way about the Jamison Crowder thing. They
Mm.
signed Isaiah McKenzie to a long-term deal, but they've got Jamison Crowder, who's a proven slot receiver.
Yeah.
So you can combine all sorts of different packages with all sorts of different personnel. They're extremely talented. I think my second favorite move has got to be the bolstering of their lines.
Yes.
Because they went out, they got Joel Quessenberry, they got Roger Saffold. Those are two really good quality offensive linemen. And they had Spencer Brown, who was a rookie they drafted in like the 3rd round last year, who was starting games for us, who was really good, who's not going to see much playing time now because they went out and they got guys better than him. And then on the defensive line, they added Von Miller. They got Tim Settle and Daquan Jones. They went out and got Jordan Phillips and Shaq Lawson, who they brought back.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of talent like further down the depth chart that you can just plug in a guy on 3rd and 7 and he's going to perform just as good. And really, that was one of my least favorite things about this Bills team was their defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
That game they lost to the Patriots on Monday night where the winds were 50 to 60 miles an hour, all you could do is run the ball.
Right.
And they got stuffed. So to bolster the offensive line and the defensive line means a lot.
Yeah. No, I was going to mention that too, because even like former Dolphins Jordan Phillip, by the way, he was drafted by the Dolphins. So he's now going to go win with the Bills, which I guess good for him. But yeah, no, just depth. Like, so even if like McKenzie or Crowder gets injured, you still have a guy who can play the slot, which is really, really awesome. Not only that, but Diggs, he can play anywhere on the field. So that's awesome. So the depth of the Bills, like you said, the most complete team, but they're also deep, which is really good as well. Okay. I'm interested to hear. I had a hard time with this one. I kind of picked kind of a weak answer to this, but what was your least favorite move of the offseason for the Bills?
So they addressed this position with their first pick in the draft. It's cornerback. I feel like that's something that they're lacking. They've got Trey White, who's coming off of an ACL.
Yep.
He'll probably come back somewhere middle through the season. But then you're relying on the guy who you drafted 22nd in the NFL draft to basically be your cornerback 1. Like, I guess I just don't really love that. You've got Dane Jackson, who's not a proven starter. They lost Levi Wallace to Pittsburgh. They've got their slot corner who's locked down, but he's not a shutdown corner on the outside. It's just, that's a really big position of need for the Bills. And they didn't do anything in free agency, or they haven't yet, to go out and fill the depth. That's the only position they're lacking.
Yeah, no, I agree with that actually, because again, I was listening to the podcast that was talking about the Patriots changing up their like offensive scheme and stuff. And one of the points they brought up was the Bills is that the rookie sounds like he's struggling in training camp right now, which show, like you said, that's the position that they're the weakest at.
For sure.
Now, the nice thing about having a good defensive line that it can hide a bad secondary. So, I guess we'll see what happens, but that's a good one. That's the one I should have wrote down.
Yeah. And to be honest, they've got good linebackers that can help in zone coverage.
Mm-hmm.
They've got arguably the best safety tandem in the NFL. But if you've got two guys on the outside who are unproven, that's huge.
Yeah. It reduces what you should call on defense. That's what, you don't want to stick them alone on the island, when you're like playing Tyreek Hill, like you're not gonna want to stick them outside alone with him. Mine was like Von Miller's contract. This was just kind of like now it's not as bad as what it seems, but it was 6 years. He's 33 years old, 6 years, 120 million, 54 or something like guaranteed, but they have a potential out in 3 years. So they can actually get out of it after the first 3 years. So it was sort of like, I like the signing, but I just, if I was going to pick something that I was like, it was kind of fishy, would be just the contract. But
yeah, I think all his money is guaranteed through like 4 years. So really it's a 4-year contract.
Right.
And then after that, it's a player opt out or a team opt out. But the GM did some cap wizardry to get him to come and sign.
Right. And you got to do that. If like you win one Super Bowl, it doesn't matter. That's all. That's right. Okay. What will make the Buffalo Bills season a success or failure?
It's got to be Super Bowl appearance or bust.
Mhm.
Now, if
Yeah.
you get to the Super Bowl and you lose to a team that's better than you, or you lose a really close game in the Super Bowl, like I'm going to be devastated, but that's better than all the previous years that I've been alive.
Yeah.
Like
Yep, that's
I
fair.
haven't seen the Super Bowl. Like
Yeah.
even just to be there for this young team would mean a lot.
Yeah. No, that's it. Yeah, a Super Bowl. Hopefully, you're not playing Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because that'd be the worst team to play and lose to. Unless if you win, then it's a
Yeah.
good.
Well, you
Then
know
it's a
you
good.
wouldn't win because the NFL loves Tom Brady.
That's very good point. But yeah, Super Bowl or bust this year. And to me, and I'll be talking about this in my AFC West preview, is the Chiefs losing Tyreek Hill. I think is big. So like before the Tyreek Hill trade, I felt like the Bills and Chiefs were kind of like still there, you know. And then the offseason happened, and I felt like once Tyreek got traded, it's like, okay, I like the Bills better this year. And it's hard to replace someone like Tyreek because you're right, he's fast, but he's like different fast. Like he has
Yeah.
like a gear that nobody else has. Um, that's gonna hurt the Chiefs. So with that being said, it's like that it's the Bills. It's the Bills to lose this year, man. I'm pretty confident in that. As long as there's not a injury or anything. So
Yep.
okay. Any additional questions for the Buffalo Bills?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I have one. How important to you, and you're a Bills fan, so is for it okay, let me try that again. How important is it to you as a Bills fan, or do you think for the Buffalo Bills to establish a quality, consistent run game this year?
It means nothing.
Okay, that's what I thought you would say. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you can run the ball with Josh Allen and Devin Singletary, it doesn't really matter. They'll probably get 80 to 90 yards a run game. Like it just doesn't mean that much. And the game of football has evolved to where the run game is not meaningless, but it just doesn't have the same effect as it did 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like the NFL has just changed.
For sure. But the only thing that I like with Josh Allen, I don't want him to get injured. So even as a Dolphin fan, he's just fun to watch, right? Um, so when he runs, and I know he's a big guy, but it just scares me sometimes because that's usually when running quarterbacks, that's when they start like once the more hits they get over their career and stuff like that. Obviously, he's still only 26, but it's just like if you could save some hits on him throughout the season by establishing some sort of run game, I feel like that could benefit him. But
It certainly would. But I mean, I think if
it's
you
not
look
that
at his
important.
numbers over the last 2 years,
Yeah.
like he's taken a significantly less amount of hits
Okay.
each year.
Okay.
Like they're getting smarter about it, even though they still do design runs. Like he's gotten smarter about sliding and stepping out of bounds before taking a hit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I mean that helps as well. Yeah. Um, yeah, when the Kareem Hunt trade rumors started, I don't know if you heard about that. He wanted out of the Browns.
Okay.
And then but apparently that's already squashed. Like I guess the Browns are like, yeah, we're not trading you. But I'm like, man, the Bills should go after Hunt. Like that's because he's only $6 million. Like he's
Well, I thought
pretty
that
cheap.
too, but they signed Duke Johnson and they get
Mm,
drafted James Cook, who are both pass catching running backs. Like,
yeah.
those are guys you're going to put out in the slot or option out from the fullback position or whatever it may be. Like you don't need another running back.
Yeah, that's true. And Duke Johnson, I think he played in the Dolphins last year, and he ran hard last year. I'm pretty sure it was Duke Johnson. So yeah. Okay. Prediction over under. So Vegas 11.5 wins. Do you have the over under?
Yeah, this has got to be the easiest one. I'm taking the over.
Yeah. Right. What do you have the record being?
13-4.
Okay. Nice. So I have 14-3 as
Okay.
but I have the over as well. Yeah. Like I think you nailed it on the head. Most complete team in the NFL. So I just don't know week to week. Personally, I think they probably sweep the division. Just as long as there's not 60-mile-an-hour winds, they'll be okay. But
Yeah, probably. And I think once Tre'Davious White comes back, Like that secondary, it'll take a couple of weeks to get it to where it should be because he's rehabbing an ACL. But that's going to be a scary defense. I mean, they were first in defense, like first in total defense last year, and they're going to be without him for probably 8 to 10 weeks. But they're still going to be really, really good. They lost Jerry Hughes to get Von Miller, which is a clear upgrade, and they're only getting better at every position except for cornerback.
Yeah. And they're deeper. Like, I just like they're so deep. Okay, so thanks so much for watching this clip of NuttieBuddie Sports. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you'd like to listen to the rest of the podcast, click on one of the links down below. And if you want to give us your thoughts on any team in any division, let us know in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Thanks so much for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we will talk to you guys soon.